to turn this on or good?
No, mics are always live.
Okay. Okay, well, I'd like to welcome everyone to today's Monterey Salinas Transit District Board of Directors meeting. The time is 10:02. For the record, we have two directors who will be joining us via Zoom, Fernando Cabrera, City of Soledad, and Luis Alejo with the County of Monterey. With that, this meeting is in person and meeting, and remote participation is offered but not required for the meeting to proceed.
Through the chair, this is a hybrid meeting because we do have two board members attending remotely, so
Yes.
remote participation is required.
Oh, okay. So remote participation is required. Thank you. And with that, there is a link via the website on today's agenda, how to join via Zoom, meeting ID 84500836234, passcode 652252. And you may also attend via phone by calling 669-900-6833. And for the record, members of the public may attend the meeting and speak to the board when the chair calls for public comment. Public comments made either in person, virtually, or email can be made. And MST is committed to civility and mindful of its responsibility to protect the work environment, to assure civility in its public meetings. The public is encouraged to engage in respectful dialogue that supports freedom of speech and values diversity of opinion. Failure to engage in respectful dialogue may forfeit the speaker's right to participate during public comment. And with that, I will call this meeting to order. It is now 10:04 and ask Jeanette to call roll, please.
City of Carmel by the Sea.
Here.
City of Delray Oaks.
Here.
City of Gonzales.
Here.
City of Greenfield. Absent. City of King. Absent. City of Marina.
Here.
City of Monterey.
Here.
City of Pacific Grove.
Here.
City of San City.
Here.
City of Salinas.
Here.
City of Seaside.
Here.
City of Soledad.
Fernando should be remote. Do we see him on? I don't see him yet.
I don't believe he's joined.
Okay.
County of Monterey.
Yes, this is Supervisor Luis Alejo. I'm joining today due to illness under the Just Cause provision of the Brown Act, and I'm here at home with no one else with me in the room. Thank you.
Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Okay. Thank you, Jeanette. And with that, I'd like to ask Director Worthy if she would lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
Sure. You ready? Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And with that, we'll move on to review of highlights. Carl?
Yes, thank you, Chair. We have while it seems like a light agenda, it's chock full of presentations. Among the usual items that we have under consent, we also have your board meeting calendar for 2026 on page 33. We have a claim rejection on page 39, and we have on page 41 an authorization for the CEO to purchase some computer equipment that goes on board our buses, in case you don't know what a V8 integrated vehicle logic unit is. Then we have a number of anniversaries and variety of recognitions for the end of the year that we want to put forward. We have some presentations from our federal lobbyist and state lobbyists, update on our surf project construction. And then we go into closed, before we go into closed session, I've discussed with the chair to save you all some time, which I know is important. We're going to call a temporary
Recess.
temporary recess of the board meeting before we go into closed session. We'll conduct the corporation meeting. And we'll, conduct that business. Should take about 5 minutes, get a report that there's no report. And then, we will then reconvene the, MST meeting to go into closed session where we'll discuss some items with property negotiators for properties in Salinas and then a separate item for properties in Sand City. That concludes my review of the agenda.
Thank you, Carl. And with that, we'll move on to public comment on matters not on the agenda. At this time, members of the public may address the board on any item not on today's agenda. Items on the agenda, I will open it up at that time for public comment. And the public has 3 minutes for your comment. And so at this time, any comments on any item in MST jurisdiction, public comment is open. And I'm not seeing anyone inside the chambers. Pearl, do you see
We
anyone?
do not see any hands raised online either.
Okay, I'll ask one more time. Public comment is open for items not on today's agenda. I'm not seeing anyone. I'll go ahead and close public comment. And at this time, before we go on to the consent agenda, I would like to ask that we pull for action item 6.1. It's on page 43 to put that first in front of the consent agenda due to time. And we have Don Gilchrist here. I think he has a tight schedule. So Don, welcome.
Well, thank you and good morning, Chair and members of the board. Really appreciate your kindness and helping me try to be in 2 places at the same time. But great to see you again. I want to talk to you a little bit about your federal program. We'll be looking at your platform for next year, but wanted to maybe start out with a couple comments about what's happened in 2025 so far. If we could go to the next slide. The first thing to say is certainly one of the major distinctives this year has been how the Trump administration has used executive authority to implement its agenda. And this has really shaped the federal process this year. Early on, there was a complete freeze and review of everything that had anything to do with the Biden administration. And then since then, throughout the year, there's been no hesitation to use executive orders to pause, cancel, or rewrite federal programs and grants. I start out with this point because I think MST has actually fared pretty well and weathered the storm well this year. If you think back to January and the award of $22 million for the SURF project, that's a significant accomplishment in this environment. And I just want to tip the hat to Mr. Sidorik and the MST staff and many other folks that got involved in helping to make that happen. But that was in doubt because of the transition from the Biden administration to the Trump administration. And so we're very pleased to see that happen. We've seen some other funds come your way this year for your zero emission fleet operations and for your contactless payment program. And so you've done pretty well in a tough environment. A lot of agencies have suffered a lot this year. MST has actually done pretty well considering everything that's happened. It's also been a challenging year for appropriations. And the recent shutdown of the federal government is probably all I need to say about that. But we're trying to finish it up. The continuing resolution runs through January 30th, and there's a lot of work to do to get these appropriations bills signed into law by then. We especially want to see the transportation bill come together. That'd be very important for your programs. The House Republicans are trying to implement some cuts in their version of the bill, so we'll be opposing that. And but the bottom line is that both the House and the Senate versions take care of the FTA transit formula programs, which is where you get the bulk of your money. So we're very pleased with that. We're hoping to get that bill wrapped up. And then throughout the year, we've also had a lot of work to do on the next reauthorization of surface transportation programs. That the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act will expire in next September. And so we've been working on this all year to try to lay the groundwork and get started on rewriting that bill for the next multi-year package. It's really going to amp up next year. It's going to accelerate. There'll be a lot more work to do. The latest guess is that the House will draft its version of the bill sometime in the spring at the committee level and hopefully get that through the full House before the summer. And that's a little optimistic, but I think it could happen. If we can stick to that schedule, then we got a chance of finishing this up by October next year. We typically have to do some extensions to keep to give them a chance to finish up, but we're not going to go there yet. But we can go to the next slide. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about your program for next year. As has been the case, your goals, your priorities have a lot of continuity. And so you'll see that your platform, your federal program for next year is very consistent with the one from 2025. We've updated it a little bit and added a few things, but as outlined in the platform, you're going to continue to engage in cooperative support among your partner organizations, which includes TAMC, but also all the other stakeholders in the transit world, such as the California Transit Association and many other organizations. We're going to continue to work to ensure short-term and long-term transit funding stability and expansion. And this essentially is saying we're going to go after funding for you from whatever source we can, whether it's the appropriations bills, the reauthorization process, anything that's going on. This will give us the license and the guidance to pursue support for your fleet, your operations, bus rapid transit, everything else that you do. I just wanted to mention that the platform includes the Small Transit Intensive Cities program, and that's been an important source of funding for you over the years, and we want to protect that program moving forward. The platform will continue to support reductions in burdensome legal and/or regulatory requirements that impact MST. And this is just the goal of streamlining the way you have to deal with the federal government so that you can be more efficient and more effective. We're also proposing some changes to federal laws that will affect the eligibility requirements for certain programs, because we want to make you more competitive for a few of these things that we've been working on. We're proposing the definition of rural under the Build America Bureau's TIFIA program to be changed so that it's consistent with the definition that FTA uses. And that specifically would make you eligible to pursue this type of credit assistance, which is a lower interest rate on borrowing money through the Build America Bureau program. We're also seeking the reestablishment of the Very Small Starts program through FTA's capital investment grants. And you were able to use that for your Jazz line in the past. The program doesn't exist anymore, and we would like to see it come back simply because it would be a much more streamlined approach for you to pursue that type of funding in the future. Finally, under the platform, MST is going to continue to engage in activities to raise your profile and your role in federal issues. This includes lobbying meetings, whether they're in DC or here in the county. It also includes you hosting federal staff or members of Congress, other officials who may come here to learn more about you and your facilities. And if we just look at next year in the platform, we can kind of summarize by saying, yeah, it will be another unpredictable year with some difficulties, lots of opportunities. And I'm confident that this platform will give us the guidance that we need to work hard on your behalf in Washington, D.C. So I'll pause there and see if I can answer any questions that you may have.
At this time, directors, any questions?
Well, welcome to Monterrey.
Thank you.
You know, of all the stuff that's going on in Washington, your optimism is that it's looking pretty good for this new year for MST, even though there's a lot of uncertainties.
Transportation is one of the issues where it's possible to work across party lines. There's a tradition of bipartisanship. And so far, the signals are that will be the case moving into our next reauthorization. The Trump administration is going to propose some pretty draconian things, is what we're hearing. One of the, just as an example, they are apparently going to propose the elimination of the mass transit account that's part of the Highway Trust Fund. That would be a direct attack on you and your funding. That would be devastating if that were to be seriously considered in Congress. It has been proposed in the past. We've opposed it and defeated it, and I am optimistic that that would be the case again. And the truth is that there are people that are all over the map in Congress, but there's a bipartisan majority in there that we can work with to pursue success for your programs and your priorities. That's what I think I see coming for next year.
Well, as you mentioned, we got the heavy hitter over there in that corner, so we're gonna have to send him. We're gonna have to send him to Washington DC.
Is that a comment on my weight?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just a follow-up to Mr. Barrera's, I see that also part of the legislation too is to oppose the efforts of current shifting current expanded or transit funds or fuel taxes to non-transportation programs. So how do you feel about that as well? Optimistic or?
That is something that you always have to be on your guard about. The competition among modes is almost as significant as the competition between the parties. And typically when the pie is getting bigger, everybody seems to do well. It's when you have a pie that's shrinking where the knives come out. And we're really worried about maintaining the baseline funding for a lot of reasons. But if we can avoid getting into a situation where we're fighting amongst ourselves in the modes, then we can talk about some real solutions. So that's one of the critical things that we're working on, is just protecting that overall funding level so that we can have room to maneuver and work on things together. So far, so good. Nobody wants to write a bill where you are taking a step backwards. Well, maybe there's a couple in Congress that would like to, but generally they don't go on these transportation committee to eliminate transportation programs. So we have some partners to work with, and it is true that your staff is extremely capable and does very well in the lobbying field, including all of the work that they do with APTA and CTA and all the other alphabet soups that I could mention. They do a lot of legwork to make sure that they're carrying water for you as well.
Thank you. I will open this up to public comment. Public comment is open. And not seeing anyone from the public, we'll go ahead and close public comment. And I bring it back to the directors. There is a recommendation by staff on page 43 to approve MST 2026 federal legislative program. With that, I'm looking for a motion and a second. So we have Director Worthy, motion.
Second.
Director Pacheco and Jeanette, roll call vote, please.
City of Carmel by the Sea,
Yes.
City of Del Rey Oaks,
Yes.
City of Gonzales,
Yes.
City of Greenville is absent, City of Kimball is absent, City of Marina,
Yes.
City of Monterey,
Yes.
City of Pacific Grove,
Yes.
City of San City,
Yes.
City of Salinas,
Yes.
City of Seaside,
Yes.
has City of Soledad joined,
No.
absent, County of Monterey.
Aye.
Okay, so the motion passed.
10 with 3 absent.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jeanette. And Don, thank you very much for your presentation and safe travels.
Thank you. I'll be around. I'm just going to hop on a Zoom call. I hope to see you after the meeting. Take care.
Positive.
Yeah.
And with that, we will go back to item 3, the consent calendar. And directors, we do have items 3.1 through 3.7. They are in your packet. Do you have any comments or would you like to pull an item?
Madam Chair.
Yes,
I'd like to pull 3.6, please.
3-6.
This discussion in closed session.
Okay,
So you want that to be covered under closed session?
Yes, sir.
Discussion, okay.
Thank you.
okay. So, any other items to pull?
Not to pull, but just a quick comment. I
Quick
noticed in P5, the schedule, meeting schedule,
Mhm.
that MST is going to host the regional, sorry. Oh, sorry, I'm mixing this up. It was somewhere else. You were
We are
going
gonna host the fall
in
conference
October. Yes,
in October 28th through the 30th
yeah, is
at
that,
the Monterey Portola Plaza.
okay, is this something rare, or do you do this regularly?
The last one was 2019,
Okay.
so it's, you know, every, 5 or 6 years. Where
Thank you, just wanted to remind us. Thank you.
And, anyone else? What,
As we, since it was mentioned, it's not, it is on March 20th and 22nd as well. We'll be hosting the American Public Transit Association CEOs seminar. So we'll have all the CEOs of transit operators coming to Monterey as well. That one happens about every 35 years. Last time they came here was the big rain event that happened in the 90s, and they refused to come back. So when the Monterey became an island for several days, this is the first time they've come back since then. So nice to get that.
and I believe you've been wanting them to.
I've been
many
out
years.
for just about 20 years. I've been
Mhm.
advocating for them to come back to Monterey, and they finally got the memo. So
Yeah, and they'll be at the conference center.
we'll
right?
be at the conference center.
Yeah.
Yeah, both events will be at the conference center.
So we'll get to do some tours, maybe? of
We'll be
MST?
doing tours of the surf for the CEOs, because by that point we'll be done in Marina. We're planning to have our everything completed in Marina aspect of the projects. We'll be touring that. And for the CEOs, probably, another tour of the surf, but with another 8 months under our belt of construction. So they'll see that much more. And then also there's a lot of interest in our contactless payment systems as well. So we'll be demonstrating that.
Okay, so with that, I will open this up for public comment. Public comment is open on any item on the consent agenda. And not seeing any, we will close public comment. And at this time, we did pull item 3.6, which will be heard in closed session. We will be voting on items 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, and 3.7. And with that, I am looking for a motion.
Sure. Move that we approve item 3 for the consent.
Second.
Mr. Smith and Mr. Pacheco, and with that, roll call vote, please.
A city of Carmel by the Sea,
Yes.
city of Delray Oaks.
Yes.
City of Gonzales.
Yes.
Greenfield is absent, city of King is absent, city of Marina,
Yes.
city of Monterey.
Yes.
City of Pacific Grove.
Yes.
City of San City.
Yes.
City of Salinas,
Yes.
city of Seaside,
Yes.
city of Soledad is still absent. And county of Monterey.
Aye.
Okay, so, the motion passes 10 with 3 absent.
Okay, thank you, Jeanette. Moving on to item 4, recognitions and special presentations. 4.1, we have the December 2025 Employee of the Month, and Michelle Obermeyer will be giving us a presentation.
Good morning, board members. Michelle Overmeyer, Director of Planning and Innovation. I have Susie Flores with me this morning. When we interviewed Susie for this position about 18 months ago, she had recently completed a master's degree in urban and public affairs, and she was working for a nonprofit supporting housing for low-income farm workers. She had no experience working in the public transit sector and virtually no grants management experience. She did have a solid understanding of how transportation and housing are linked, and a genuine interest in supporting transportation justice and becoming part of the solution to provide access to education, healthcare, and other daily destinations. Susie started at MST in August 2024. She trained with staff across all departments to become immersed in our operation. She gained a deep understanding of MST's mission. Susie is cool, calm, and collected. She maintains a professional demeanor, is exceptionally organized, and works well with all MST staff. Susie is managing about $150 million in active grants right now. She oversees grants for projects as small as shop floor sweepers to projects as complex as the surf project. She successfully led us through a Caltrans grant oversight review last month. And most recently, Susie helped us secure a $1 million grant through the Federal Transit Administration's very competitive low or no emissions program. Susie's work exemplifies excellence, collaboration, and a deep commitment to MST's mission. Her ability to work seamlessly across departments ensures that operational needs are clearly understood and effectively translated into successful grant applications. She has developed a strong working relationship with our peer agencies and funding partners. I'm lucky to have her on my team, so please join me in congratulating Susie Flores as our December Employee of the Month.
Thank you, Michelle. Good morning, everyone. I've had such a great experience working for MST. Since day one, staff here has been really supportive of me and collaborative and helping me bring these grant applications together, and I'm so grateful for that. The staff here has also helped me develop professionally in my short time here. I feel that I've gained so many skills. Since I started with MST, as Michelle previously mentioned, I didn't have much experience in the transit world. I also want to thank all of my colleagues for being supportive and collaborative and teaching me more about the world of public transit. So I hope to continue to support MST and to help deliver our mission of providing quality public transit. Thank you.
Susie, I mean, I don't know if there's much more that can be said, but it was great to see. It was probably 2 or 3 days after our executive leadership team had selected Susie as the Employee of the Month that we received news of the $1 million grant. So we had already decided. I know she thought that it was because of the grant. She was going to get that regardless. Yeah, we had been 12 times at that, 10 times. Yeah, so 10th time is the charm for that particular program. Had gone 10 times to that source, to that well, and come up empty. Susie was able to finally crack the code for us and bring home $1 million for us. So thank you, Susie, just not just for that, but for everything else. I want to present you with your Employee of the Month pen, your resolution, and more importantly, your check. So thank you very much, and thank you for everything you do.
We'll take
All
a
right,
picture.
can you come up and get a photo with
Yes,
us?
I did want to say that to Susie, Susie, I've met one person in 35 years who's mover and a shaker in our community, and I see that you are on the move.
Why don't you join us here for the photo? Do you have anyone here who wants to take a photo with you? Michelle, do you want to join? A couple of friends. She has a couple. Oh, great. Come on up.
And the check is made out to Susie, right?
You're in a star. Yeah, here we go.
What a perfect time to get a check
There we
right
go.
at Christmas. Yeah.
See, you know, I'm gonna take it.
Curious.
You know, I want to find out that too. Yeah.
Am I cheating?
No.
3 digits?
3 digits, yes.
Okay, that's what we were wondering.
2 of them are zeros.
Okay.
Not the first one.
First one,
Okay.
or the second.
Okay. With that, we'll move on to item 4.2. This is, Marzette will be giving us a presentation if he is here, which I don't see him at the time.
Step out.
He was here.
Yeah.
We can move down to item 4.3 and see if he will be back. So let's take 4.3, Kelly Halcon, and we will be discussing MST Peer of the Year 2025 recognitions. Kelly.
Good morning, Board of Directors. Kelly Halkin, Chief Human Resources Officer. I'm here to present and speak on the presentation of our Peer of the Year for 2025. This is an award that is in its second year. We implemented this new award last year, and what's really fun about this award is that it is solely based on the employees of MST picking individuals they think deserve to be recognized as peers. Great peers, outstanding peers that give back to their departments and to their fellow peers. And so they nominate within their groups, and then the whole organization gets to vote on 3 finalists or 5 finalists for each for either coach operator, maintenance, and administration. And with that, I'd like to invite up Ronaldo Hernandez, who is representing and was voted Peer of the Year of 2025 for the coach operators.
That's great.
Greg Burchell, who is our operations supervisor, was nominated and voted and won for Peer of the Year for administration. And for our maintenance, Jose De Jesus Ruales, who is not present in the room right now. So I just want to congratulate everybody. Ronaldo is our most senior driver. How long have you been here, Ronaldo?
36 years.
And so Ronaldo has won numerous Employee of the Month, Employee of the Year. He's just stellar. And Ronaldo, I just want to say, give a little bit about each person, but Ronaldo is the type of person that he is very invested in the passengers on his bus. And he is one that if he knows that somebody is sick, a regular passenger, he has gone and visited them in the hospital to check with their family to see how they're doing. He just goes above and beyond, and he's like that with his coworkers, and he's like that with everybody at MST. When he sees me in the parking lot, he gets really excited because he doesn't get to see me that often anymore. So he gets really excited and we catch up. And so Ronaldo is just one of those great people that he is very well respected amongst his group, amongst his peers, and amongst even all of admin. We just really appreciate everything that Ronaldo does. Greg is, as I mentioned, is no, is an operations supervisor. Greg was hired as a coach operator and works his way into the operations supervisor position. And you've been at MST for how long, Greg? So Greg is one of those that you see out in the service. He is constantly out, not sitting at a desk, just doing paperwork. He is out in the road. He is being there for his drivers. I'm going to say right now, all the drivers have nothing but really great things to say about Greg. He's there to listen to them, help them out. He's also one of those that has a very gentle hand when dealing with passenger disturbances. So, Greg is one of those that we absolutely adore, and he is very much adored also by his fellow peers of his other operations supervisors. They love working with Greg. You don't really hear a bad thing about Greg at all. So thank you thank you so much, Greg, for everything that you do. You guys have certificates here, but your Terry Berry catalogs are on the way. I promise they're being shipped overnight. So with that, and Jose is who is not here right now, but he is a mechanic A. He has been with us for quite, what is it, maybe 7, 8 years. He is one of those that is very dependable, nice guy, gets along with everyone. And if he was here, I'm sure everybody would say the same thing. So he's in the shop right now working, and hopefully we'll be able to catch up with him later on, somewhere down the line. So with that, I'll let the guys talk if they want.
I just want to say something about Ronaldo. When we would have to take over and do his run on the rare occasion that he wasn't there, every person that came on said, "Where's Ronaldo?" They really love him, and I could see why, because he's a great guy. I appreciate this award. Thank you very much. It means a lot coming from the peers, and that's about all I have on that.
And also, I just, I want to thank MST for giving me the opportunity to be able to work with such an amazing group of people. And just to be able to drive around all day in a well-maintained bus and to interact with the community, that just means everything to me. So thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, I'd like to thank our recipients and call them up for a photo, and the chair to get in the photo with them.
If I can just say one thing.
Yeah.
And I think I've said it before, but I want to say it again. I am so impressed with the fact that MST does this. I mean, the fact that you recognize the employees and you give them their props, it means so much. It means so much to me to see it. And I know it means a lot to the employees. So I want to thank you, Carl, for your leadership on that.
Well, you're welcome. And I was going to just get to thanking Kelly for setting this. It was a couple years ago. We decided, we've been doing Employee of the Month, Employee of the Year, before my time started here, so for 30 plus years, we had been doing the same thing. And Kelly wanted to spice it up a little bit. And through some collaboration with her, we came up with the Peer of the Year, the People's Choice, where we let our passengers choose their favorite driver. And then there's the Right Way Award to honor our very best in honor of the name of Clarence Wright, who was here. So a lot of that, I appreciate it, but a lot of it goes to Kelly wanting to find new ways to recognize our employees. So with that, let's get our award winners up and our board members up.
Can I bring my wife and my...
You may, and any special guests you have. Here you go. Here you go.
Thank you very much.
We've seen you guys up here.
Yeah.
So I know.
Here, you guys are there. Sorry, I'll split out you. And family? You guys stay in here? Okay. All right.
And you're pretty green.
Kelly Green.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, so good.
That's my department.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly.
Make sure,
Yep, sure.
and Norm is available. Marzette got called away.
Oh.
So Norm is available to say a few words about our 25-year employee, Dennis.
Let's move for.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
I'm coming through Zoom. I'm at home today. Sorry for not being able to be there in person, and apologies for Marzette having to take care of some business. Anyways, wanted to recognize a 25-year employee. This coach operator has exemplified professionalism over the 25 years, reliability, and shown a unwavering commitment to serving our customers here on the Monterey Peninsula, in the city of Salinas, and throughout the other regions that Monterey serves. So I wanted to congratulate professional coach operator Abendano for the 25 years. What a distinguished career, having safely transported thousands of passengers over his 25 years of serving this community. And we couldn't have done it better. So I just wanted to congratulate him, recognize him for 25 years. Also wanted to say many more years, hopefully, if he can deliver for us. So anyways, congratulations, Coach Operator Abendano, for 25 years of
He is
service.
not here today. Thank you, Norm.
Thank you.
That concludes our recognitions and special presentations.
With that, we will, there are no public hearings. Item 5, we'll move back to item 6.2, action items, and we are looking to approve the 2026 state legislative program, and Michelle Overmeyer and Matt Robinson or Michael Pimentel.
You'll get all of us.
All of you.
Good morning, board members. Michelle Overmeyer, Director of Planning and Innovation. This is the one time of year where our advocates come in person. So we have Matt Robinson and Michael Pimentel. We have staff reports on page 49 and 71. So they'll give you an update on things going on in Sacramento and then walk you through our 2026 legislative program, which was brought to the administrative committee last month, and we've made some edits and it's ready for approval today. So I will hand it over to our advocates.
Good morning, everyone. As Michelle said, we're usually down here once a year, but if you keep the weather like this, we're happy to come whenever you want us. It's foggy and cold and freezing in Sacramento, where we both live. So this has been a welcome adjustment. My name is Matt Robinson. I'm joined by my business partner, Michael Pimentel. We are your advocacy team in Sacramento. You usually see us a lot on Zoom and through the committee meetings. So it's nice to get an opportunity to present to the full board. I want to start with some good news. I think we've reported this to most of you in the past, but our sponsored bill that we ran this year with Assemblywoman Addis, AB 761, was signed by the governor and will be in effect on January 1st. And that bill really had two things within it that were important to your extension of Measure Q. One is the process. It's now up to this board to decide whether to put a measure on the ballot with a 2/3 vote. Under the old way, we had to go around to all the cities and get permission individually before we could move forward. So this streamlines that a bit. And the other thing it does, it gives you some additional capacity. Measure Q is currently an 8 cent. If you choose to add another 8 cent onto it, you now have the authority in statute to go ahead and do that. And that won't have any impact on any existing sales taxes or any future planned sales taxes. It's sort of excluded from that calculation in the local tax limits that exist for other taxes in the county. So I wish you well as you get into those conversations about the extension of Measure Q. The polling we've seen looks amazing, so I think that is great. And if there is the will to go forward with some additional funding for operations to help shore up the system, you now have that opportunity in front of you. Our legislature's been on recess since the middle of September. They come back on January 5th. They begin that second year of the 2-year session. It's important to note that there were bills that were introduced in 2025 that never made it out of their original house. They were either held in policy committees, they never had a hearing in policy committees, maybe they were in the fiscal committees and were decided that they would be made a 2-year bill. They could still be on the floor of the House. No matter where they're at, as long as they're still in that first house, they have to get out of that house and into the second house. So an assembly bill has to go to the Senate, a Senate bill has to go to the assembly. All that has to happen for anything that was introduced in 2025 by the end of January. So when they come back on the 5th, it's a pretty frantic sprint to get those things moved and over to the other house. And I think that's about 26 days if my math is correct. And so it'll be interesting to see. I will touch on a couple of bills that we're keeping tabs that are in that bucket in just a second. But if they're new bills in 2026 that they want to introduce after they come back on the 5th, they have until February 20th to introduce those bills. And then those will go through the normal course of business in the legislature. So that's a pretty key date. We will know the lay of the land. Just as a reminder, members were given a cap of 35 bills this year across those 2 years. And so a lot of them introduced 20+ bills in the first year, so they may have only a few slots, whereas others were more conservative, perhaps wanting to take more time in developing what those 35 bills were going to look like over that time frame. A couple of those 2-year bills that I wanted to touch on are listed in your board report from us. AB 810 is a bill that was held that would essentially require you to update MST's website and then all of the accompanying materials that have that web address on it. You would need to either be a .gov or a .ca.gov by 2031. And while we hear switching domains isn't an expensive undertaking, I think it's more everything that goes along with it. Your website updates, your collateral materials, et cetera, all your business cards, all of that would have to be updated as well. That bill has been hit with a lot of costs, as you might imagine, from local agencies, special districts in particular, that are impacted by it. And so we'll have to see if the author decides to move that one forward. Another one, AB 1070, deals with your boards. It would require the transit districts in the state, and that's important, not if you're a JPA or if you're a city transportation or transit authority, but just special districts that operate transit services. You would have to add new members to your board, members of the public, members from your labor organizations, et cetera, would have non-voting seats on your boards of directors. And so that is one that we are keeping an eye on. That's challenging because a lot of special districts, as you all know, were constituted in statutes. Their makeup are listed in the codes. And so going in and just having a blanket addition is a bit problematic. Some already have public members on them. Some have labor representatives, and those were decided by the constituencies at the time and the legislators at the time that represented those agencies when they were created. So that's one that we will be keeping tabs on and checking in with the author's office in the weeks and months ahead to see if they plan to move that bill forward. Quickly, a few things that we're looking forward to. And I only mean that in the direction, not necessarily eager or excited about it. In 2026, we will see some SB 79. That's a bill that we've talked about dealing with land use designations around our major transit stops. Not a ton of impact in Monterey County, but it is one that the authors from this year have decided they are going to run some cleanup on. I imagine most of that will be technical cleanup, but we will keep tabs on that and give you a more detailed report once the legislation starts to materialize. As far as some transit bills, we do believe there'll be more transit safety legislation. I think something that MST is looking towards is a bill that the California Transit Association will be sponsoring that allows the use of camera enforcement for parking violations on your BRT lanes. So if a vehicle is parked where it shouldn't be or at a bus stop, there are cameras now on buses that take a picture of the license plate and issue a ticket. There are a number of agencies in the state that already have the authority for this technology and have been using it. Interestingly, it's not a moneymaker, it's actually a behavior changer. People stop doing it once they get those tickets, and we see the number of parking violations issued in those areas drop dramatically in that 80 to 90 percentile, so to speak. So that's one we'll be keeping tabs on. We will also have an effort to try to extend out the sales tax exemption for the purchase of zero emission vehicles. That was something that the association had successfully sponsored twice, giving you a partial sales tax break when you buy those buses. It expires at the end of this year. So we will have to try and move that extension out further. There will be a lapse, but given the budget signs that we've got in the last few years, I think it's going to be an uphill battle. And speaking of that, the LAO released its budget, Legislative Analyst's Office, released its projection for next fiscal year's deficit and pegged it at $18 billion. The LAO is usually more conservative than the governor's administration. So I don't think when the governor releases his budget on or about January 9th this year or next year, that number probably won't be that high. But we are seeing some real impacts from HR1 on the state's fiscal situation, even though a lot of the cash receipts lately have been very positive. They've been beating expectations, but I think what happens next year is still a bit of an unknown. So we will have more to share after January 9th when the governor releases his version of the budget. And Carl and the MST team happy to get on a Zoom to the full board and walk through some of that stuff if that's your prerogative. Quickly before I hand it to Michael, we do have new leadership in the state Senate. Senator Lamone, took over the pro temship from Mike McGuire on November 17th. It was made official then. They will have a ceremony on the 5th when they come back in January for sort of the swearing in, if you will. We haven't seen some of the downstream impacts of that yet, meaning the committee chairs and how that's going to look under the new leadership team. We expect that could come anytime now next few weeks. Sometime, I think, before January 31st, we will surely see those announcements made. There have been some speculations about some of the committee assignments that are likely going to be up for grabs. Those include things like appropriation, budgets. We expect environmental quality, perhaps some of the budget subcommittees. Transportation, I don't think is going to change, but we will keep you posted if it does. And, you know, depending on where people go, obviously that creates vacancies in those old committee seats. So we will have a rundown of that as soon as we can for you all in an upcoming board report. But it is important to note that, you know, there will be some changing of the guard, if you will. So the budget chair will no longer be in San Francisco. Leadership will no longer be in the North Bay. There will be new faces there, and only time will tell what those faces are. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Michael. He's going to run you through sort of an update on cap and trade and where we stand with that, as well as the task force that Carl and Michael have been participating in for the last, gosh, what, 18 to 24 months-ish. And then
24 years.
Yeah. And then Michael will touch on a little bit of the ICT with work part. So Michael.
Thank you, Matt. Director, it's good to be with you this morning. Michael Pimentel with Shaw Yoda and Schmelzer and Langen. So I'm going to speak first at cap and trade, do a high level update on the work that transpired this year. To starting with some background, cap and trade is a market mechanism enacted by the state that helps regulate emissions, also produces revenue for a variety of climate purposes, including for public transit. And so up this year was discussion about reauthorizing that program. Program was set to expire in 2030. There was an interest from the governor in seeing there be an early reauthorization to carry that program forward through 2040. He engaged the legislature. There were negotiations, and ultimately the program was reauthorized through 2040. And I'm going to highlight that action to reauthorize was not at all at the start of the year guaranteed. There were a lot of discussions around changes to the program, changes to the revenue and its investments that were the subject of really significant negotiations at the state capitol. One of the things that we had positioned for with MST and by extension through the California Transit Association was the maintenance of our longstanding climate-supported transportation programs. There are two of them: Transit and Intercity Rail Capital Program. That is a program that helps generate competitive grant opportunities for transit agencies across the state, as well as the Low Carbon Transit Operations Program that provides formula dollars that you all can use to help support services, to move toward initiatives that gain riders. Through the efforts of CTA, through the efforts of MST, we were able to protect those dollars, totaling $600 million a year through 2040. And so for us, a very significant win. But I'll note that there were some significant changes that came alongside the maintenance of those monies. Chiefly, there was a reordering of priorities within the disbursement of dollars. And what we now have is in years past, we were often getting a percentage amount from the total revenue that program generated. We've moved instead to flat dollar amount. We've also moved into a new tiered priority order whereby we're in tier 3. And so that means that tier 1, some off the top investments, largely backfills for various tax credits, need to be satisfied. There's a tier 2, monies for high-speed rail, money for legislative discretionary investments have to be satisfied. Then we move to tier 3. So in order for tiers 1 through 3 to be fully funded, we need the program to generate about $4 billion a year. Historically, that is within reason. Historically, that is what we've seen that program generate. Part of the interest in reauthorizing was to help create some certainty in the market that was believed to help create then demand for the revenues that could be used then for investment in a variety of purposes. Now, I mention that because the theory has, at least at this stage, not fully held. And so we had a recent auction just this November, and what we found was, despite the tightening of the market, despite the reauthorization of the program is still generating less than what we've seen in recent years. And so if you were to tally out the monies that came forward through this most recent auction, about $840 million, about $150 million less than what we've seen in previous years. That would mean that if you were to take that 840 and carry it out, we're generating just over about $3 billion. And so, to see my previous comments, you need about $4 billion to see tiers 1 through 3 fully funded. There is a potential that there could be a scaling and a proportional decrease in some of the funding that we were securing. Now, I want to be careful in noting the most recent auction only relates to the programs that were authorized over I should say, the initial authorization of the program. What we'd be looking at to really understand how the program is operating moving forward is anything that happens after July 1 of next year. At that point, we'll have a clear understanding of what that program is generating. Now, the final thing I'll mention on cap and trade is that there were some monies that were identified for transit passes. This is under the legislative discretionary investment, $125 million that has been ascribed to supporting transit pass programs across the state. We are in the early stages of engaging with the legislature on what that program might look like, how it might be accessible by transit agencies. Those conversations began last week. They're going to continue into next year. And what we learned from our early conversations is that there is no clear perspective from the legislature on how those monies will move out. That creates an opportunity for engagement from transit agencies, from the California Transit Association, to help shape that program. And again, that will be work that we conduct in the months ahead. Now, I want to pivot to the final two updates. One is the Transit Transformation Task Force. Here, I'll just note, earlier in our engagements on behalf of MST and the California Transit Association, one of the things we brought to bear was $5.1 billion in what we call SB 125 funds. Those were monies that we were able to protect again this year to make sure that monies continue to move forward. We've received 86% of the total investment from that $5.1 billion total already. But part of the interest from the legislature was not only in providing the investment, but making sure that there were improvements in transit services. So they established a Transit Transformation Task Force that was set to look at a variety of new policy changes, potential funding mechanisms to support transit in the years ahead. We have been engaged in a 2-year-long process in advising on the recommendations that would come from that report. I say we, Carl Sidoric, myself, sit on that task force, and we have just concluded the last meeting that took place on September 30th. We've just seen the final report be released to the legislature last week. And so that will kick off then what will be reviewed by the legislature. I would anticipate there could be things like a legislative hearing next year, and then there will be discussions around which of the recommendations get carried forward into actual legislation or budgetary action. Those will be areas that will be engaged on on your behalf. And then finally, as I close, I'll note the Innovative Clean Transit Rule, something that this agency has wrestled with, creates a requirement for you to transition to zero-emission technologies by 2040, is still the law of the land. And come 2026, we'll see some heightened requirements go into effect. In 2026, we're going to see an increase in the purchase requirement for large-sized agencies that moves from 25% of a single procurement to 50% of a single procurement. And then we'll see the small-sized agencies get included, whereby 25% of a single procurement need to be zero-emission technologies. The areas where we're focused at this stage on behalf of this agency is on relief, flexibility, to provide some clearance for technologies that are still very expensive, not yet fully performing with a 1-for-1 replacement with traditional buses. Carl Sidoric and I sit on a new task force held by the California Air Resources Board, where we're advising on those relief measures. And part of the things that we'll see in the very near term is that CARB will be releasing a document that identifies how an agency who wants an exemption from the rule for a single year can claim that exemption. That will provide some near-term relief as we have more holistic conversations around how the regulation proceeds in the years ahead. So that concludes my report. Matt and I are happy to take any questions you might have.
And Madam Chair, quickly, we can talk about the state legislative program if you'd like us to. It's in the packet. We discussed it at the policy committee in detail last month, I believe, Michelle. And so rather than run through it bullet by bullet, I'm happy to take any questions on the program as part of our response to your general Q&A, if that's helpful for speeding things along. And also, if you want to take pictures with us too, we're more than happy.
Only if you wrote checks.
We brought some checks here.
So thank you for your presentations. I will ask the directors at this time if they have any questions.
Yeah, thank
for
you.
Chris Smith.
Mr. Pimentel, you made reference to the work in progress for the buses that are zero emissions. Are we chasing federal statutes or state statutes with the requirement of the purchase?
Yeah, the requirement comes fully from state requirements. But what I will note is that the state, in promulgating that regulation, was attempting to further climate goals and air quality goals. And I'll really emphasize the air quality goal aspect that are dictated by the federal government. The Federal Clean Air Act does require that we move into positions of attainment in all of the areas of our state. There are certain regions in our state, the San Joaquin Basin, LA Basin, that are not at attainment, and hence the state moved forward with those regulations.
Okay, and is there anything percolating at the federal level that would potentially impact what the state may be able to do to extend our requirement, modify our requirement, or give agencies an alternative?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And you probably have seen in the news, there are a number of regulations that the California Resources Board has advanced. They've either had to modify or pull back. The function of that is, under the Clean Air Act, there has to be, for purposes of regulating private parties, a request that is made of US EPA to enforce the regulation. When it comes to public parties, no such requirement exists. And so for that, we don't have then the potential that the federal government could rescind our waiver. If we were to change our regulation, we wouldn't have to go and seek a waiver. We'd simply be able to implement. And so in this current condition, would not anticipate that there would be any direct intervention from the federal government to change our course. The area where we'll perhaps see some challenges will be in programs like the Low-No Grant program, where there's a reorientation away from zero emission technologies to near zero emission technologies that would unfortunately make it harder for us to meet the state's requirements.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other directors? Not seeing any. I will open it up to public comment. Public comment is open. And not seeing any public comment. We'll go ahead and close public comment and bring it back. So thank you for your presentation. There is a staff recommendation on page 49 to approve the MST 2026 state legislative program. Move to approve. And Director Worthy, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Jeanette, do you have the second? Director Shirley, yes. Okay, and with that, roll call vote, please.
City of Carmel by the Sea.
Yes.
City of Delray Oaks.
Here.
City of
Yes.
Gonzales.
Yes.
You only get one vote.
Greenfield is absent. City of King is absent. City of Marina.
Yes.
City of Monterey.
Here and yes.
City of Pacific Grove.
Here.
City of San Jose.
Yes.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
City of Seaside.
Yes.
City of Soledad still absent, and County of Monterey.
Here and I.
Motion passed 10 with 3 absent.
Okay, thank you.
Having myself county crew. They left me.
Yeah.
They left me alone.
Shopping.
Yeah.
And thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we'll move on to the next item, agenda item 6.3, and this is to receive a CERT project construction update with Lisa Breinheimer.
Lisa is attending us remotely. She has the same thing that Norm and Luis and half of the rest of our staff are out sick today. So Lisa, take it
Yeah,
away.
thank you. I just want to verify you can hear me okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay. I sound probably a lot worse than I feel, but in the spirit of not giving this ick to everybody else, I thought it was probably best to stay home. But I do have some exciting project updates for you. And our project manager, Rick Guerrero, is also on Zoom. And If you have specific questions as I go through this, he is available as well. Next slide, please. So for those who are new to the SURF project, it's a project between Marina and Sand City Seaside area. It's the sort of second component of a region-wide vision for bus rapid transit to get people through our cities and communities more quickly on public transit. Once the SURF project construction is complete, the actual service itself, the buses will start or end their line between Salinas and Monterey. It's the existing line 20 that will be transformed into the new SURF line. It will provide faster, more frequent transit. Those are the two things that our transit riders appreciate most about public transportation, all on quiet, zero-emission vehicles. Buses that are on order and on the assembly line as we speak. There will be 2 new stations and 2 new bus stops with a mobility hub near the dunes. Next slide, please. So we've been doing a lot of communications because at the moment there are impacts to the traveling public. So we've been upping our communication to the City of Marina Council, the TMC Board of Directors, the TMC Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee, Sand City staff. We've had email blasts, we've had social media, on-site information, and in fact, this evening, because one of the biggest impacts right now is for trail users, is we're along with Supervisor Askew and Mayor Bruce Delgado, who are hosting a Zoom community meeting on trail closures. I'll be presenting information to them as well. That's at 5:30 this evening. If you want the information, just let me know. Next slide. So some of the key elements for our cyclists and pedestrian and wheeled friends, we're including a mile of new extended multi-use trails. We have the new mobility hub at the dunes, which will include bicycle parking and repair station, along with a kiosk so people can get some bike parts if they need to. We have 3 position bike racks on all of our buses. There will be a new connection from transit near the dunes at the 5th Street station to Fortag and the coast. We have 2 new bus stops, one at the new State Parks Campground project and then one at California Monterey Road in Sand City. And this will provide a really good connection to Seaside High School for the students there. Next slide. So during construction, we have a lane closure on Del Monte southbound in Marina between Palm and Cypress. And it has definitely caused some consternation and frustration amongst the traveling public. I will not deny that. Luckily, we will have this open in early January. This week we start to install rebar for the concrete, pour the concrete next week in one of the travel lanes that's currently closed. And so it'll be back up and running in early January. The coastal trail along from Rhine to Palm is currently closed as well, but that will be reopened when we reopen the travel lane. Beach Range Road Trail gap to Marina Drive has been complete, and that seems to be a likable solution for people. Next slide. So here's what we got here. Before, it was just a dirt path. This is the trail connection gap that I just talked about, and we put in some asphalt in there to make that connection. And then we've also put in this last week some better wayfinding, temporary wayfinding signage on the trail, which you can see here, Central Marina to the north, 0.5 miles, and we have that sort of scattered throughout where people on the trails need to make decisions about where they're going. Next slide. So one of the biggest complaints we've received is from this trail closure. This is in the Dunes area. It's from 8th Street Bridge overcrossing that goes over to the state park underneath the highway to the coastal trail. That's got to be closed for the duration of when we're doing this project, because we have the undercrossing as an access point for construction vehicles, and the last thing we want is someone to get hurt. So that has to be closed for the duration of the project. However, to help mitigate that, we have free rides. Thank you, Director Vischer, for that suggestion. We have free rides at the VA DOD clinic, but bus stop for cyclists if they show up, and they can ride for free. Next slide, please. So here's where that undercrossing is. And so we've put up detour signs and also that stenciling in the trail to indicate, this one is Central Marina, 1.7 miles. So people know how long it takes to get there. And then there's another one that goes to Sand City and showing how many miles that is. Next slide. And then here at the 5th Street Station, there's a lot of activity. This is kind of an older photo, but this is where water retention system was being put in. Next slide. And this is kind of what it looks like as of last week. A lot of dirt moving, rough grading, tree removal, just getting it ready for the park and ride lot that it'll be. Next slide. So in Sand City, we're clearing, grubbing, tree removal is complete. We'll be removing rails starting early next year. And we will have to have a protected detour for the coastal trail to make sure that cyclists and pedestrians are protected while near the work zone. Next slide. So through spring of 2026, the Palm and Del Monte work will largely be complete. I don't have an exact date. Spring goes until June 20th, something like that. So the busway construction will be complete. The Beach Range Road extension, even farther north, will be complete. There's a crosswalk and sidewalk that needs to be upgraded. And then the tree planting and landscaping will also be complete. So the contractor is trying to button up this whole area and get out of there and get it all done so that people can get back to normal in that area. At the 5th Street Station, again, grading storm drain system. This week we're going to have electrical contractor in for putting in conduit for lighting, EV charging, etc. We'll be working on the parking areas and using part of the area for construction staging. Next slide. So people can definitely contact us at surfinfo@mst.org if they want to provide a compliment or a complaint. A lot of what we've heard has been very specific about impacts to their particulars. We've tried to respond as quickly as we possibly can within 24 business hours if possible. There's a lot of coordination that happens between MST and the local jurisdiction. So we've had a lot of conversations with the City of Marina staff about the current impacts. But we're trying to make them as minimal as possible. And in fact, one of the things that we did was enter into a reimbursement agreement with the City of Marina for some drainage improvements immediately adjacent to the surf project on Marina Drive. It had an undersized drainage system that would frequently flood in the winter times when the rains came. And so as part of our collaboration, the city is reimbursing MST for some drainage work and there's going to no longer be flooding on Marina Drive, which I'm sure the residents will appreciate. So some of the work that we're doing is, a lot of collaboration with the cities, and we certainly appreciate their spirit of cooperation. So I'll stop there and I'll try to answer any questions if you have them. And then we also have the technical expert, Rick Guerrero, online too.
At this time, any questions from the directors?
Just a remark, I love, thank you, Lisa, for the presentation, and I loved seeing the green arrows on the bike path, because that will make it very clear. So, thank you for that.
Lisa, could we go back to, I don't know how hard this would be, but could we go back to your first slide at the retention pond?
It's number 9, maybe?
I didn't,
One showing the pit.
yeah, I can't see numbers. With
The previous one. Yeah, that one.
Okay,
There's a ladder.
okay. So, just 2 comments. So, the wayfinding signs, those are temporary?
Yes.
Okay, and then just a question for Nick Guerrera with Granite, the safety program. I was just looking there when we went through these slides. Usually we have a cut there, for the safety program. So do you have safety meetings included with Granite Rock with workers in the trenches or as we're going through the construction process? I know usually that we go by with construction that you go with Cal OSHA safety protocols and I believe just looking there that we should have like two ladders in those trenches. So
yeah,
just-
great question. So yes, we do have we actually have a safety team dedicated to this project. We've got our own, being that this is a joint venture, we have our own OSHA permit for this project. And all of this is actually an open excavation, not a trench. So yes, we're following all the protocols. We have daily ham meetings with all of our teammates and go through each day's operation. So at Granite Rock, we're very safe, kind of forward with everything. That's our motto here, safety before all else. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yes, and we have another director, Shirley.
Yes, thank you, Lisa, for your presentation, and thank you for the free bus rides and following through with Director Fisher's idea. I'm just wondering how you're promoting that or advertising. How do people know that if they're on their bike, if they go a certain distance, they get a free ride back?
Yeah, great question. So we have the information at the trail closure. So if someone with their bike is like, oh man, I needed to go through here, the information is posted right there. It's also at the bus stop at the VA DOD clinic. And I'd have to defer to, I'd have to get back to you on any kind of social media that we've done on that. Although Akuyo is on, and maybe she can answer that question.
Okay, thank you.
And with that, if there's no other questions or comments, we'll go ahead and open this up to the public. Public comment is open. I am not seeing anyone in the chambers or online. Now I could see names. I'm not seeing anyone. So at this time, we'll go ahead and close public comment. And this is no action was needed. This is just an update. I'd like to thank Lisa for your presentation and as well as Nick for being online as well. So thank you. With that, we will go ahead and move on to the next item, reports and information items. These reports do not require action by the board. We'll go to 7.1. Carl.
Thank you, Chair. In item 7.1, you have our operating results through October, and it's again another 5% increase in ridership year over year. We've been doing that consistently, if not more. since December of 2022 and the implementation of the Better Bus Network, our service continues to grow. I did, in this report, I mentioned some of the things that came up today and in the Operations Committee meeting I had in October with our representatives, state legislative representatives of the California Transportation Commission. This is related to our transit policy, prioritization policy that came to your board last month. We had a discussion with them to make certain when cities are using state grants for these types of projects that we want to put into the guidelines that the state requires the local jurisdiction to show that the local transit operator has checked off and approved any of these types of projects, so that we can ensure that we're not being designed out of these roadways in advance of them being approved. So we had a very successful meeting at that point in Sacramento, and there is a new round of guidelines coming out for the next round of grants. Doesn't help us with the existing rounds, but for the next round of grants, that'll be probably a statewide requirement. And then if you look at attached to my report, a couple items I wanted to draw your attention to that were somewhat related to our issues at the state level. Attachment 1, we had an update on the Innovative Clean Transit Rule, and our requirements for battery electric buses aren't going away anytime soon, and the buses are continuing to be more expensive. And where it kind of ties together with federal policy is that what you see in Attachment 1 is a notification of our current buses that are to be delivered in December of over $400,000 bill for tariffs related to items that are coming from outside of the country related to the battery electric bus. So we are now, as a staff, we're not just, saying, oh, of course we're going to pay that. We first have to determine whether we can pay that. There are federal rules. While there are federal rules requiring the tariffs, there are also federal rules that say you've negotiated a contract, and how do you, manage changes to the prices. We've determined that there is probably a legal standard that the manufacturer does have the right to ask us for this. We do then have to go through a process of getting the information down to an invoice component level to determine that the tariff that they're claiming actually applies to the pieces that are going on our buses. So it's a lot of work. We've had to hire a consultant to help us through that process so that we can properly document that, so that in 3 years, when this procurement is reviewed by the Federal Transit Administration and no one remembers what the heck happened, we'll have documentation to show that we did it correctly. Otherwise, we could possibly have to pay the money back. The next article attached, so more will come probably in January or February. As far as what our staff's recommendation going to be, whether we pay all, part, or none of this tariff request. The other option, other complicating factor is that this whole thing is in front of the Supreme Court. Whether these tariffs are illegal or not, I don't necessarily want to pay local funds for something that might be illegal. So we'll be working with the vendor on that. We may have a contingency within whatever agreement that we pay for the buses, and we, put the tariffs in escrow or something like that upon wait until we determine whether the Supreme Court rules these tariffs to be legal or not. So just a complication. And another complication is Attachment 2, the proposal from the Secretary of Transportation and staff in the reauthorization bill, the IIJA new bill. Don talked about it earlier, about the elimination of the mass transit fund. And, there's common wisdom says that this will never happen, but, these are interesting times, and there were a lot of things that we thought would never happen with various programs. So we just have to keep our head on a swivel and, keep our eyes out to make certain that the unthinkable doesn't happen, because that would be, well, I don't know, $20 million a year in MST, some federal money. So, we got to make certain this program stays current and stays affordable to us, stays available to us. And then there's a section in there about flex funds, where highway funds can be flexed to transit. We're using $2 million of flex funds for our surf project. We're using the RSTP program that TAMC manages, uses flex funds for a variety of projects that MST uses for transit purposes. So this is not a good proposal, especially since it's coming from the department that actually manages us. So we're gonna keep our eyes on it. So that concludes my general manager's report.
Did you need to touch bases on this one, 714?
There you have a memo. The chair just brought it up, item 714 on page 87, page 67 of your packet. We did have a recertification of our automatic passenger counters. This is something that we need to do periodically, and we did show that the passenger miles traveled calculations was undercounted, and we are restating those numbers appropriately, and we'll continue to fine tune that technology. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of competition in this market, and we're kind of stuck with this vendor. We're always looking for new vendors, but this is who we have.
Yeah, just a quick question for Carl. So it's so great to see this increase in ridership from the Better Bus Network. I'm wondering, is it in particular areas or is it across the entire board? Like, do we have any idea what aspect of the Better Bus?
The highest
given
growth
us
has
this?
been in the Salinas and Salinas Valley, but that is by design because that is part of the Better Bus Network. We redistributed assets, human
So you would
and rolling stock to those areas, and that's where we're seeing, where you have more service, you have more ridership. It's not a it's
Not
as I tell my staff, it's bus science. Yeah, it's like rocket science, but at 13 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So we so we anticipate as we add more service on the surf, we'll see where we add more service, we'll see more ridership. That's just the way it works. And an area where we've taken ridership away is on the Monterey Peninsula, where we eliminated the Defense Language Institute program, buses running around that campus. As I mentioned in the operations committee, though, where we redeployed some of that services to Rancho Cielo, and that on a passenger per hour basis, that service is actually more productive on a per hour basis than what we were running on the Defense Language Institute. So it's, we're not quite at pre-COVID levels system-wide. We've exceeded pre-COVID levels in those areas that your board adopted as a priority for service. So the plan is working as you designed it. We are replacing some of these lower density areas, especially with hospitality workers and the Defense Language Institute, and even in the ag market, more van pools. We've doubled the number of van pools and the ridership on the van pools. And when Amazon comes on board, they're looking heavily at more van pools. So I think we'll replace the ridership that we lost on the Defense Language Institute with the van pools. And so we've just seen tremendous growth in that area as well.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Good job, young man.
Very good.
It's a great team.
We did 7.2 is the federal legislative report. We went over the federal and the state already, so I think we touched bases on those earlier. Staff trip reports are in your packet. And correspondence, there was a letter from John Laird.
We have a thank you. We were able to take his staff to visit priority projects in Monterey County, and they used our bus on a very rainy, windy day. They were able to take advantage of that, and he was very pleased and sent us some letters, certificate of appreciation for the employees who participated in that. And since his name is being kicked around as perhaps Senate Budget Chair, it's always good to get nice notes from someone who may be in that type of position in the future. We'll see. Regardless, it's nice to have that recognition.
And with that, we'll move on to item 8, board reports, comments, and referrals. 8.1 reports on meetings attended by board members at MST expense. Do we have any? No? Okay. Board member comments and announcements at this time. You sound like you want to say something.
No.
Carl.
Stifle and a sneeze.
Not a board member.
I know, I was gonna say, yeah. So board member referrals for future agendas. Nothing as yet. And you will always have a second bite at the apple next year. Okay, attachments are in, can be reviewed online for October. And with that, we will, at this time, we're going to go into a temporary recess to the close, into our corporation meeting. And before we go into closed session, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then when we do go into closed session, we will, there has been an item added from the consent item 3.6 to be discussed rejection claim. And we will add that at that time. So at this time, we will do a temporary recess and we will to convene with the corporate MST information.
Which will be here, right? Yeah, we're just gonna do this now, so this will save you time.
Right.
That's the whole goal of this.
And I just need to find that little agenda here. Okay, so with that, we will, where
Luis has his hand up.
the MST Transit Corporation meeting agenda. And this meeting is open to all.
Someone has their hand up? Oh, Luis has his hand up.
Please.
I'll wait till after this item, Madam Chair.
Okay.
So with that, we will go ahead and call this meeting to order and roll call Jeanette.
Yeah, I believe meeting to order at 11:30 p.m. Roll call. City of Carmel by the Sea.
Here.
City of Delray Oaks.
Here.
City of Gonzales.
Here.
City of Greenville absent. City of King is absent. City of Marina.
Here.
City of Monterey.
Here.
City of Pacific Grove.
Here.
City of San City.
Here.
City of Salinas.
Here.
City of Seaside.
Here.
City of Soledad is absent. County of Monterey.
Present.
Okay, Madam Chair, you have the floor.
Okay. With that, we'll, thank you, Jeanette. We will move to public comments on matters not on the agenda. So at this time, members of the public may address the board on any matter related to the jurisdiction of MST, but not on this agenda. There's a time limit of not more than 3 minutes for each speaker, and public is encouraged to engage in respectful dialogue. With that, public comment is open. And not seeing anyone in the chambers or via Zoom, I am going to go ahead and close public comment. And we do have a consent agenda item 3.1, and that is to approve meeting minutes of MST Corporation meeting of December 9th, 2024. And that is on page, that information
That'd be
is on
December
page
11th, 2023.
December 11th.
So this would be last year's minutes,
Okay.
because this is we only meet once a year.
This is.
I'm sorry.
But this is.
Oh, you're right.
It is for
Okay,
12.
so the
12.
agenda appears to have a typo on it.
Okay. So.
No.
What am I looking at?
You need to refresh.
You're
looking at the
minutes. You're looking at.
I'm at the minute.
It was sent later.
I got it.
Don't
Never mind.
second guess me,
Never mind.
Mr. Sadora.
I foolish to even thought so, but.
Okay.
He's still on vacation.
Yeah.
Okay. So the minutes of 12/9/2024, and they are on page 5 in your packet. And with that, are there any directors or are there any comments on this item? No? Okay, I will ask the public if they have any comments on this item. Open it up to public comment. Not seeing anyone in the chambers or anyone via Zoom. We'll go ahead and close public comment and I'll bring it back for approval. And with that, I'm looking for a motion for approval. We have a motion and a second roll call vote. Jeanette?
City of Carmel by the Sea.
Yes.
City of Delray Oaks.
Yes.
City of Gonzales.
Yes.
Greenfield is absent, City of Kings absent, City of Marina.
Yes.
City of Monterey.
Yes.
City of Pacific Grove.
Yes.
City of Sand City.
Yes.
City of Salinas.
Yes.
City of Seaside.
Yes.
City of Soledad's absent. And County of Monterey.
Aye.
Thank you. So the motion passed. 10 with 3 absent, and I heard Ferrera for the first and then Amelia for the second one.
That's good.
Correct.
Yes.
We'll move on to the action item 4.1, receive report on corporation matters from 2025.
I can handle
Lisa?
that.
Oh, Carl.
Lisa, the report is that there is no report.
Okay.
For those of you who are new to the board, this is a holding company. If there were anything being financed, we'd give you a report on that. There is nothing being financed, so there's no report.
Okay.
Forward to that.
Okay, no report. Do I need to open? Oh, I will open it up to the public. Public comment is open. Not seeing any. Public. There's nothing,
No
but I get it by legal if I didn't open it up to the public comment.
There's nothing,
No,
there's
okay.
no item.
Okay. So, closed public comment, not needed, and, with that, we have a recommendation to receive this report, which there is none. So, adjourned. Meeting adjourned.
We have met the state requirement to have one meeting a year. Keep this thing going until we finance something again.
Okay, we're going back to the agenda. Closed session, so at this time,
So Madam Chair, you're now reconvening the
yeah.
board meeting for MST. You still have one item remaining, one section, it's the closed session, we have 3 items on there, and you can proceed.
thank you. With that, I will ask the public if they would like to comment on any of the items in the closed session. Public comment is open. Not seeing anyone. We'll go ahead and close public comment, and we will go ahead and excuse the public, or we'll be going
go into
into the other room for discussion.
Did Luis have a comment to make? It's not, maybe in a session.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What page did you see mention?
Oh, yeah, I'll direct you to that. It was near the end, the Rancho Sierra productivity is on page 56 of the monthly report.
Thank you.
And that's awesome.
Yeah,
I see that. Yeah.
they're a great bunch there.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Tom.
Sure. There we have, and there we have. Thank you. This is not. Sacramento, here we come.
Yeah, really. No, thank you.
If I did, I'd put room and a
Oh,
flamethrower where blow the place up.
it
Oh,
is.
oh my God.
I mean, it's only run by inside.
It's
Hey, is the microphone?
No terrorists.
Hopefully not.
I
Yeah, you're right.
And we
Okay.
haven't even talked about it.
Let's see
$1 billion.
Okay, we are coming out of closed session and I would like to ask our legal, if he would report out.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The board did meet in closed session on 3 items. The first item, which was marked on the agenda, is item 3-6. We met in closed session to discuss the pending and threatened litigation of this matter. The board did vote on a motion by Emilio, seconded by Smith, on a 9-0 with 3 absent, the city of Greenfield, city of King City, and Soledad all being absent, and the Monterey, County of Monterey abstaining to reject the claim by Arrigula Sorio Albaran. On the second item, this was item number 10-1 marked on your agenda. The board did meet and have a discussion, and it on a vote by Director Worthy, seconded by Director Pacheco. The motion was to authorize.
You had to write it down.
Authorize a purchase offer of $5.975 million for the Sun Street property to include a 4,500 square foot community garden carve out contingent upon completion of a satisfactory environmental review. That motion passed 10-3 with the city of Greenfield, King City, and Soledad being absent. Regarding the third item in closed session. Regarding the third item on the agenda, for a closed session, there was no action taken, so there's nothing to report at this time.
Okay,
Luis has his hand up.
and Luis?
Yeah, I wanted to speak just to item 3.6 because it was properly listed as an open session agenda item and vote, not a closed session. And I raised this concern that it was not properly listed in closed session. And I looked up California Government Code section 54954.2, and it does specifically make clear that any items to be discussed in closed session must be agendized in that closed session agenda 72 hours in advance. It could, because only certain items are allowed under the Brown Act to be discussed in closed session. Otherwise, all other transactions and items must be discussed out in public. And that is why even closed session requires in our agenda, closed session agenda, we have to list the government code that where that item qualifies to be discussed in closed session. So if you see item 10, 10.1, and 10.2, it does properly list the government section, code section where it is authorized to be discussed in closed session. That was not agendized for item 3.6. It could have been, but it was not. Otherwise, every city council, school board, board of supervisors, every other local government body could then at whim remove an open session agenda and just say simply list it at the last minute under closed session to be discussed behind closed doors. And that is not the will and the intent of the Brown Act. So I know our council disagrees with me, but I looked at the Attorney General's memo since we last discussed this and the code section itself, and it is pretty clear. And I think if my colleagues look at the way the closed session agenda is agendized, it does list the proper code sections that authorize it to be discussed in closed session. That was not done clearly here for item 3.6. So I think item 3.6, I support rejecting the claim as an open session item, but it was I abstained because it was not properly agendized to be discussed in closed session. Thank you.
And his vote was reported out as abstention.
So
Under the government code, it does require that only certain matters can be discussed in closed session. Matters of threatened and pending litigation are one of those. This was a threatened litigation. It's a rejection claim that was properly agendized for open discussion, for a consent item rejection. Any discussion of that in the closed session, we received no public comment on that matter. It was properly agendized for open discussion, for open public comment.
as I was recently referred to in the operations committee meeting as a peace builder, is there anything to prevent us from just having an open session vote on this item right now?
Right.
We can do that.
If you would like to, well, to do that, because the board has already acted on it, you would need a motion for reconsideration to withdraw that vote. And then you'd
Okay.
be able to open up that item again and then vote again.
Okay, so at this time, let me open this item 3.6, bring it back, the rejection claim by Argelia Albaron, and I will ask the board to rescind the previous motions. Previous action, and I will look for a motion,
So
and
moved.
then a second, and then I will call for a roll call vote.
So moved.
Okay, first motion was,
A motion to amend the resolution.
was Alejo, and then we have a second, Director Barrera. Jeanette, this is to reject the,
To rescind,
to
the
rescind,
action to reject the
to
claim.
rescind the previous action, during closed session. And, I will ask, Jeanette,
Okay,
if you
so
will
who-
call roll.
Who is made the motion?
Tony.
Tony.
Director Alejo
Okay.
made the motion, and then a second was Director Barrera.
Okay, and then are we doing a roll call vote for that?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Okay, do that. All right, Carmel by C,
Yes.
Del Rey Oak,
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Greenfield. Absent. City of King, absent. Marina.
Yes.
City of Monterey.
Yes.
City of Pacific Grove.
Yes.
City of San City.
Yes.
City of Salinas.
Yes.
City of Seaside.
Yes.
City of Soledad is absent. County of Monterey.
Aye.
Okay, so this is for the rescind 3-6, and then now we're gonna vote.
No, we have to make a motion.
So, that their motion, carried for to,
Yeah, but we need to make. a
and
motion.
now we will go back. I am going to open back the meeting back up to the consent agenda, item 3.6, and this is to reject the claim by claimant Argelia Soria Albaran. And,
I'll make that motion, Madam Chair.
okay, Director Alejo will make the motion to reject. We have a second, Director Smith to reject, and then, I will ask Jeanette for a roll call vote.
Should we go out to
Oh,
open?
actually,
Yeah,
yeah,
go out to open.
let me open it up to public comment is open. And no one in the chambers and no one via Zoom. We'll close public comment. Thank you, Director Smith, for keeping me safe, honest there. And with that, I will ask Jeanette for a roll call vote.
Okay, City of Carmel by the Sea.
Yes.
City of Del Rey Oaks.
Yes.
City of Gonzalez.
Yes.
City of Greenfield absent. City of King is absent. City of Marina.
Yes.
City of Monterey.
Yes.
City of Pacific Grove.
Yes.
City of San City.
Yes.
City of Salinas.
Yep.
City of Seaside.
Yes.
City of Soledad is absent, and County of Monterey.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, motion carries. And thank you, and hopefully that clears up a little bit. And just to be on the safe side so that we don't hold up any further, anything
Yeah, that's.
in regards to this here, any future actions. And with that, I will go ahead and go to item 11, call this meeting adjourned. We will meet next year. See y'all next year. Happy holidays, January 12th at 20.